So measuring from tip of the door to here, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. What's up guys? DIY Salvage Guy here. Welcome back to the channel. Today's episode, you guys are gonna see what failure feels like. 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. That's all we do on this channel because what we do here is we learn as we go. So hopefully you guys will consider subscribing down below if you guys are new here. Everyone else, please make sure you guys smash that like button, comment down below, interact with me, let me know what you guys think about this stuff. Also, make sure you guys have your post notifications on and make sure you guys are following me over on Instagram. That way you guys stay up to date on the build and everything else goes on this channel. So, previous episode in suspension, this episode is a little bit jumbled with that one as well. So, we tried to fix the panel, didn't work, thought I fixed it, didn't work. Fixed the door, didn't work. A lot of trial and error with this guy. So, I just want to point out that I'm new to this, I don't know exactly what I'm doing, and anyone who is learning this that says that they are able to do this perfectly, they're not. So, the power of editing and YouTube allows people to make themselves look a lot better than they actually are. I'm being real with you guys, I'm letting you guys know the struggles and everything else that goes on with this. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that and appreciate the reality of this, and we'll hop right into it right now. So it's been a couple days since we tried to adjust this door. We still need to get this done. So right now it's sitting a little high and it's still pushed back a little bit. So none of the bolts are tightened up. So I'm gonna try to do this by myself, see if I can adjust this by myself. Just a little bit here or there. So throw some time lapse and just see what I can get done with it. So we got the door adjusted. The body gap might be slightly big. I'll know more once I get all this filler and everything in. So maybe like a millimeter, maybe half a millimeter, something like that. I got to get a measuring tool to see what it's supposed to be and what the actual the tolerances are. So that's what we did right there. And we're going to try to test fit this quarter panel or fender now. See what we can do, see how everything's lining up, and see if we need to adjust the door anymore. Alright, so quick update. Fender does not fit perfectly. I thought that this was going to be a problem. I think that when the accident happened, the impact happened like this. So I think that this got pushed up a little bit because the fender got hit and it ripped the bolts out of here. And when it did that, I think that it pulled it up a little bit. So the reason why I think it's up higher is you can see the body lines right here. So this is up a little high, and over there you can see that those body lines are pretty much perfect. So I don't think that the door is off. The door does need to push towards the rear a little bit, but that's irrelevant at this point. So I think if we push this down a little bit, that will allow this to sit a little bit further down, and then so this won't have so much pressure on it, and then this will be able to scoot down a little bit, and it should even out the body lines and everything. So we have a test fit. It does fit, but it doesn't fit perfect. It doesn't even fit really nice. It's just on there. So another body line you guys can see here. It's off by probably like 2 or 3 millimeters. So this does need to come down. So I will do that when I do the suspension this weekend. I'll get it up on the quick jacks, take the tire off, and I'll be able to kind of just hammer this down a little bit, this side right in here. I'm hoping I'll be able to hammer it down a little bit. I can tell there's a little bit of a bulge in there compared to the other side, so I think that's what it actually is. So we'll take care of that this weekend. I'm going to try to push this door back another millimeter or so, and then that's about all we can do for this. Alright guys, so I just want to update you. Camera just showed up on the time lapse, so I don't know exactly where it stopped, but we are looking really good here. So what we have is, this is lined up, I want to say perfectly. I know that the door up here, there was no damage or anything, so as long as this is good, I am really good with it. So the body gap looks to be perfect, right around 2.5 millimeters, I'd say. This lines up really good as well. Then I think the mistake that I was making is that I was trying to match this part up with this, understanding that we pulled this out and I thought it would have been perfect, but it's not yet, and that's fine, because what we're going to be doing is we have to do the body filler and we have to do the fiberglass on here, and when we do that we're going to build up the edge a little bit, just enough to make sure that it is even with the rest of this door jamb. So now that this is good and we know that this is good, now we're good to go. So this is our body line, this is what we have to fill, this is what we have to level off, and so this side down here, this is the biggest component of what we have to do. Now you fit a finger in there, it's probably, you probably need about 1/2 inch, no, less than that, probably about 1/4 inch of fiberglass and filler, and so we'll be good with that. So we're gonna level this all off, make sure this is all good, going all the way down, make it nice and even. We'll push this out a little bit, we'll make sure all these dents and weld marks and all that stuff is taken out, and our door is officially set. So now that it's set, we can do the fun part and actually just take it off again, hopefully keeping the hinges and everything aligned the same way that they were, so that we don't have to worry about adjusting it all again. So like I said before, we are going to test with the fender one more time with the door, I think officially good, and see just how this is going to be down here, and see what we're able to do with that. So one more test fit, and then we're gonna probably button up the interior, get the airbag back in, all that stuff, and then put these windows up, and maybe even leave the cover off tonight and let it you know, let it see the sun a little bit. So alright, so here's the panel test fitted. It fits pretty nicely up here, which is good. All the holes are lined up and everything, but it doesn't really do too well down here. So you can tell what I mean by thinking that this is up too high. So if we are able to hammer this down a little bit, or bring this down a little bit, this should be able to come forward and sit a little nicer down there. Because if this is lower, then this can sit, you know, better over here as well. That way this doesn't actually affect the door. So, you know, we are not there yet, so hopefully we'll be able to hammer this down, adjust this panel. I know this panel does need to come up about 1 millimeter, and it's just not enough. So we're just gonna check to make sure that the door and everything's all good. So measuring from tip of the door to here, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. It comes out to be about 9¼ inch, and also the height is just short of 10 inches. So we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So the only thing it might be off by is maybe 1/4 inch. It might be lifted up, and I still think that I could hammer that down a little bit once I get on the inside, and I think that it'll actually bring the fender and everything down a little bit, and it will sit perfectly. So we're only off by about 1 or 2 millimeters, but it is sitting a little high. So that means that the fender is going to be sitting off, and we don't want that. We want it to be perfect, and once we get that test fit, we'll be good to go with everything. And then the rest of the stuff is fairly easy. We've got to do a little bit of body work. We'll get this bumper off, we'll fix that all up. We will get the quarter panel all fixed up. But so we just got a couple more things, and this weekend we will have a way better idea of what we need to do. Alright, quick update. We got all the wires buttoned back up. You guys can see all in here. Got all this stuff connected again. We have to put the bolts back in, obviously, but everything's back in the way that it should be. I have a couple brackets we got to put back on. Airbag put back in. Then we got to put the dash back together as well. Then the interior will be buttoned up. We'll give it another vacuum. Make sure that we are good with all that. Get these mats in, and the interior should be pretty much done at this point. Just have to still reset the airbag light, and then everything else should basically just be the outside and the bodywork. So we are getting there. Alright, so 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Door doesn't align. I thought it would. It doesn't. And so it's either because the quarter panel right down here is still sitting up too high. I hammered it down. I thought that it was going to be good. Turns out it's not. So the door hits a little bit. Turns out the door is probably 1/2 millimeter too close to the quarter panel. So you have 2 factors with that. I tried to get the bottom down a little bit. I don't know how else to do it, so I'm not certain what I'm going to do with this. But the other thing I need to do is get the interior ripped apart again, because I need to take out the driver's side seatbelt, ship that out and get that repaired. When I took out the 2 rear ones and shipped them back, they were repaired and I had no issues, and I thought that I would kind of put everything back together and be good. Turns out I had a front seatbelt code, even though it was not blown. So that's what I got to work on. So we'll probably do that tomorrow. That's going to do it for today's episode, guys. A lot of struggles, a lot of forward movement, backwards movement, think I'm good, think I'm bad. A lot of errors in that. So what happened with this is I reached out to one of my followers, subscribers here, T-Man. Thank you very much for the suggestion. You guys are gonna see exactly what I mean in the next episode. Gave me a big tip, so could not have done this without all of you, especially him in this particular episode. That will be the next video. We are going to actually fix that fender area, and we're gonna make this perfect. So, if you guys are new here, hopefully you guys consider subscribing, learn alongside me, all that stuff. Everyone else, make sure you guys smash that like button, comment, post notifications, make sure those are on, and also make sure you guys are following me over on Instagram. I hope that you guys will consider this a learning experience, and you guys will be inspired by this and just pick up a wrench or buy a car or do whatever you need to do. Just try to become a DIY salvage guy yourself.